US Air Force just revealed a first look at its new fighter jet. Hello lovely YouTube family, welcome back to Ten Focus. In today's videos, we're going to talk about US Air Force just revealed the first look of its new fighter jet. Before we start, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. The US Air Force has secretly designed, built and flown at least one prototype of its enigmatic next generation fighter jet. The service's top acquisition, official confirmed to Defense News on September 14. The development is certain to shock the defense community, which last saw the first flight of the experimental fighter during the battle for the Joint Strike Fighter contract 20 years ago. With the Air Force's future fighter program still in its infancy, the rollout and successful first flight of a demonstrator was not expected for years. We've already built and flown a full-scale flight demonstrator in the real world, and we broke records doing it. We're ready to go and build a next-generation aircraft in a way that has never happened before. Almost every detail about the aircraft itself will remain a mystery due to the classification of the next-generation air dominance program. Roper declined to comment on how many prototype aircrafts have been flown or which defense contractors manufactured them. He wouldn't say when or where the first flight occurred, and he refused to divulge any aspect of the aircraft's design, its mission, whether it was uncrewed or optionally crewed, whether it could fly at hypersonic speeds, or if it has stealth characteristics. Those attributes, he said, are beside the point. The importance, Roper said, is that just a year after the service completed an analysis of alternatives, the Air Force has proven it can use cutting-edge advanced manufacturing techniques to build and test a virtual version of its next fighter, and then move to constructing a full-scale prototype and flying it with mission systems on board. This is not just something that you can apply to things that are simple systems, like Boeing's T-7 Red Hawk trainer jet, the first Air Force aircraft to be built using the holy trinity of digital engineering, agile software development, and open architecture. We're going after the most complicated systems that we have ever built, and checked all the boxes with its digital technology. In fact, not just check the boxes, we've demonstrated something that's truly magical. Now the next generation air dominance program sits at decision point. Roper declined to say how quickly the Air Force could move its next-gen fighter into production, except to say pretty fast. The Air Force awarded a nearly $1.2 billion contract to Boeing for its first lot of 8 F-15EX fighter aircraft on July 13, 2020. The program itself has the potential to radically shake up the defense industry. Should the Air Force move to buy the NGAD in the near term, it will be adding a challenger to the F-35 and F-15EX programs. And because the advanced manufacturing techniques that are critical for building NGAD were pioneered by the commercial sector, the program could open the door for new prime contractors for the aircraft to emerge, and perhaps give SpaceX founder Elon Musk a shot at designing the F-35 competitor. I have to imagine there will be a lot of engineers, maybe famous ones, with well-known household names with billions of dollars to invest, that will decide starting the world's greatest aircraft company to build the world's greatest aircraft. With the Air Force is exactly the kind of inspiring thing they want to do as a hobby, or even as a main gig, Roper said. The disclosure of a flying full-scale fighter prototype could be just what the Air Force needs to garner more financial support from Congress, during a critical time where the service is facing budget constraints and needs to gain momentum. If you can quickly get to something and show progress through product, it just changes the whole dynamic of the hill. A radical new acquisition. Flying a prototype of its future fighter was the easy part. Now the Air Force must choose whether to commit to a radical method of buying it. Over the last 50 years, the US industrial base has dwindled from 10 manufacturers capable of buying an advanced fighter to only 3 defense companies: Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman. The time it takes the Air Force to move a new fighter from research and development to full-rate production has stretched from a matter of years to multiple decades. The result is that every fighter program becomes existential for companies who fight to prove that they can meet technical requirements during the development and production phase at a lower cost than their competitors. The companies are finally able to turn a profit during the later years of a program, when they become locked in as sustainment providers with technical knowledge necessary for upgrading, repairing, and extending the life of their product, often with little congressional interest or scrutiny. The sustainment account is a black hole that nobody understands. The account is a black hole that no one can figure out. Eaglin said, the person who can change sustainment can change the acquisition game writ large. For the Air Force, the turning point is when an aircraft hits 15 years old. At that age, maintenance costs compound rapidly, growing another 3 to 7% every year. Roper wrote in a September 15 document titled "Take the Red Pill, the New Digital Acquisition Reality." But what if instead of spending significant funds on sustaining old jets, the Air Force used that money to buy new ones? Instead of buying a large quantity of a single fighter over decades and retaining each plane for 30 years or more, as is currently the norm. The Digital Century Series model proposed by Roper posits the advanced manufacturing and software development techniques that make it possible for the Air Force to rapidly develop and buy aircraft more frequently, much as the service did during the 1950s when it bought 6 fighters from 6 companies, just years apart from each other during the original Century series. In August, Air Force's Advanced Aircraft Program Office completed a business case analysis of the Digital Century Series model, meant to validate whether the idea was technically feasible and, more importantly, whether it could save money. Leaders found that by applying digital manufacturing and development practices, as used by the T-7 program, as well as in the development of the NGAD prototype, it could drop the total life cycle cost of a next-gen fighter by 10% over 30 years, compared to legacy fighters like the F-35 and F-15, Roper wrote. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing video from us.